Hey guys, sorry it's taken us so long. We've just been extraordinarily busy and a number of our dear, attentive subscribers and followers have said, where's your final summary for Big Little Lies? Because we saw
Oh my, how much we have loved this series, and the last
Loved
episode
it.
did not let us down. It was brilliant right from the first minute, though we have something to say about the ending.
We do have something to say about the ending, but it did start brilliantly, didn't it? It was called I Want to Know, and I thought it started brilliantly, again, with Meryl Streep doing that incredibly covert thing with Laura Dern in Starbucks.
Who we will say again, we were worried that she was going to be a bit Meryl Streepy in this series, but we've absolutely
top draw,
loved
top
her.
dollar. Meryl Streep is almost done. It's revitalised and resurrected my love affair with her.
Yeah,
really,
because
as
we
an
went off
actress.
her for a bit.
Yeah, she became too mannered, and I think she's going to win an Emmy. I think she's going to win all sorts for this. So she wound up Laura Dern. So that's Laura Dern dealt with. Kidman, of course, had decided to defend herself, which sometimes in films when that sort of thing happens, you
think,
get a bit
you're asking
eggy.
us to turn ourselves on our head too much.
Yes, yes.
But she was brilliant.
Yeah.
She was so good.
Very melodic, brilliant.
Brilliant.
I thought she was so good, and I thought she played it brilliantly because you believed her professionalism to the point that it got her. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't over-egged. She wasn't over-brilliant. She didn't lose... I thought all the performances in this have been subtle, I think.
And the writing.
Absolutely.
It was just such a wonderful surprise because we see her, don't we, in her bedroom looking through the iPad. But I didn't guess at all what she found on that iPad.
It wasn't shown.
Yeah. So when
So that was a
she
shock.
uses in the court, of course, she winds up her mother-in-law, first of all, Meryl Streep, with the fact that she'd lost a child in a car accident and that was her fault and that she'd been very brutal.
And I like that because we got to see Streep on the ropes.
On the ropes.
Yeah.
And Nicole Kidman's character asks her over and over again,
Bless
sorry.
you.
Did you kick him? Meaning her
Yes,
husband,
yes,
because
yes.
that was a big thing in their violence, wasn't it? A lot of very brutal kicking, which I
Yes.
just found so hard to watch.
Yeah, so did I.
And that did get her on the ropes. And then, of course, Nicole produced this film, this piece
tape.
of film that the children had taken, and so all along the children had been seeing the violence.
Yeah.
And as she said, God knows what else, because of course we know that there were rapes as well with the violence.
Absolutely.
So it was it was an ultimate courtroom moment, wasn't it?
Oh,
for
it really
a courtroom
was.
drama.
And I think courtrooms in dramas can be very... I mean, one of the few occasions where I thought it held it all the way through was that brilliant series with Sarah Paulson at the O.J. Simpson trial.
Yeah,
I thought that really worked. You know, you've got to... It's got to be done with some finesse, and I thought it was done really well in this. And I thought, again, seeing Streep on the ropes, the moment where Nicole Kidman suggested to Streep that, you know, did you blame my husband for the death of your other child? You know, and you saw Streep, and I really believe Streep's desperation to resurrect or maintain some sense of dignity for her son.
Well, she was very good that she wasn't just pure evil.
Yeah.
Again, you know, it's that thing you felt, her vulnerability. Sometimes you'd be like, God, am I judging this little old lady really harshly? And actually, she might have made some mistakes with her son, but ultimately, she wants the best for her grandchildren. And then she'll show a flash of that pure evil again. It's like, oh, no.
And then in part 2, Streep heads over to Kidman's house, doesn't she? Sort of imploring her and pleading with her. And then the Lenny Kravitz story sort of moves along, doesn't it?
Oh, she was really good.
Because the mum sort of came back round, didn't she?
Yeah,
And then,
not Lenny Kravitz.
Lenny Kravitz's daughter.
Oh, you just said Lenny Kravitz.
Yeah, the
You
Lenny
didn't say the
Kravitz's daughter. Oh, did I not? Oh, sorry. Well, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Lenny Kravitz's daughter, Zoë Kravitz, for better name usage. Her mum dies, doesn't she?
Yeah.
And that
because
was
all the
very
way
sad.
through, of course, she'd been expecting her to put the pillow over her face because that's what her mother wanted, wasn't it? Kill me.
Well, I kept thinking her mum was going to come back round and say, you did it because you told me.
Yeah, so I thought that was really moving. I wanted to see more. I wanted to find out more about her father, but obviously that's for another series.
If there's
And then,
gonna
of
be
course,
another series.
Reese Witherspoon and her husband get it back on.
Well, yeah, I liked that, but you kind of said you wanted to slap him.
Oh God, I don't think she should have had him back.
Really? Yeah. Well, that's kind of
Oh
interesting.
God, he was so wussy and whining around. It was just like, oh God, you're making yourself so unattractive.
But I thought it was quite nice to have a positive story. You know, a story that wasn't just
but I just
everything
don't think
ending.
it's going to be able to hold itself together, because she was just grateful because she felt guilty about the affair. But the fact still remains, the reason she had the affair was he's a bloody wet blanket.
He's a limp piece of lettuce.
He's just miserable, moping around the whole time, and she's a live wire. That relationship cannot work.
It's doomed, is it?
Doomed.
It's a doomed relationship.
Doomed. So we're going to see more from that in the next series.
Why did I write Kidman's kids? Did they do something quite remarkable in that part?
They were just they were astonishingly good.
Yeah.
They played the sadness of their situation so beautifully. Obviously, that will be a lot to great direction, and of course Nicole Kidman being such a fantastic actress. So yeah, we wanted to give a salute to the boys.
So part 3, Kidman wins the case. I found that a genuine surprise. I wasn't expecting that. I felt real kind of almost a punch in the air moment. Yeah. And then, you know, Kidman's dignity was in her suggesting that her boys go over and give their nan a hug, which I thought was beautiful.
Without being schmaltzy.
Yeah. And then meanwhile, the other story thread, so Reese is sorting out her marriage, Kidman wins her case. The woman, the actress who I'm so sorry I forget her name, but the one from Fault in My Stars, she's sort of her relationship with the boy seems to be in a good place, doesn't it?
But I'm still left confused about his visit to the police.
What was that about? Well, maybe that's got to do with what we saw at the end. But then, of course, Laura Dern has yet another highly memeable moment where she goes into her husband's miniature railway.
Thank God, smashes the place to pieces.
He's a very smart bastard, isn't he? Just sitting there with his feet up.
Such a shit.
He's such a shit.
Such a shit.
He's just like, he's been knobbing the you-know-who. He's been...
Gotta have something to play with. That's what he said.
Yeah.
Tipped her over the edge.
So she gets the baseball bat and smashes up his miniature train set.
And I'm sure the audiences across the world that watched this were cheering.
I bet Rod Stewart wasn't, because he's a miniature train fan. To the point that when someone had one stolen, he reimbursed them.
Did he?
Yeah, very sweet. All stories pulling to a close. I know, exactly. There you go. So all the stories were rather neatly pulling to a close. And I'd had this episode slightly ruined for me because I'd read a fucking spoiler on a fucking website that hadn't warned it was a fucking spoiler. And so the way you summed it up the other day when you said, how did you feel about that? And I said, I felt a bit shortchanged. They all congregated with this sort of beautiful music.
So they were all having a momentous moment in their life. Nicole Kidman was sat with her children having just won them. Yeah. Reese Witherspoon was just about to have sex with the husband that now will take her back.
So they've all got new lives.
The Fault in the Stars woman was just about to have sex with her new boyfriend.
God, everyone was about to have sex.
Everyone was about to have sex in like a really moving moment. And then she just calls them all up. Next thing we know, they're all just walking in a single file. Zoë Kravitz. Then they're all walking in single file into the police station.
Well, no, but even more than that, they're all standing, not saying anything in the street to each other, looking at each other meaningfully.
I didn't like it.
Now, I'll tell you what that smacked of. That smacked of the producers having tied it up because they weren't happy with Andrea Arnold, the director, because I know there's been some kind of conflict. Something didn't ring
because she's
true.
A brilliant director.
Yeah, exactly. Everything was moving at a right pace, and it was almost like they felt they had to stitch it up really rapidly at the end. Didn't believe it. It tugged against all their story threads. What had happened to all those moments where they were meeting on the cliff edge and sort of like a gaggle of sort of well-meaning witches with their lies were saying, no, we've got to lie, you can't tell your husband. All of that just seemed to vaporise, and they all sort of blithely... Now, this is assuming they've all gone in to hand themselves in. Maybe they've all gone in to extend the lie. Maybe they've gone in to blame someone completely different. But I felt it was a very rushed, botched. I felt it was botched. That's what I felt. Botched. And it cheapened the entire thing. It didn't ruin it, and it didn't even ruin this episode, because it's so meticulously crafted. But I felt it was a little bit weak. Did you?
I did.
And I'm not entirely sure there is a season 3 coming.
Personally, I can forgive it all, because they gave us great 6 fantabulous, was it 6?
At least.
Episodes, and it
no,
was
7 episodes.
And
I
it
thought you were
was
going to say 6 women. 7 episodes.
That as it was coming to the end of each episode, I was dreading it because I didn't want it to end, and you know, rather like a book you just can't put down. That's what it was.
I got a bit jealous of Nanny Died because she sat down to watch them all as a binge, and I felt like I wish I'd binge watched them.
Yeah.
Watch them one after the other.
Yeah.
But anyway, no, I thought absolutely brilliant. And top actresses, top production team, whatever the issues were, backstage, off stage, whatever, off screen, we don't care. It was brilliant. It was beautifully done. Thank you.
And Reese Witherspoon, I'm your new greats fan.
Please
I didn't know you were this good.
Please give us season 3 though.